friend. I was in Western Mass for the holidays, and yeah, it's true. Sounds like you were there. Then you'll know that this is true. I saw that Linens and Things was going out of business. I know, it's so sad. My first thought was, should have been more specific. I sung Linens and Things. I signed up for a credit card, and you know how when you sign up for a credit card or a bank account, you want to call and access the account? You have to give them your mother's maiden name. Well, this credit card that I signed up for allowed me to pick the question that they asked me and the answer that I give them. So now whenever I call, they have to ask me, what am I wearing? And I have to respond, I don't think that's appropriate. And I have access. I was in an elevator, because I have the money. And it was very small, it was like this big, but it was super crowded. And this guy sarcastically goes, there are probably bigger elevators than this in Russia. Probably. That's not one of the pre-agreed upon stereotypes of Russia. You can't just make up random information and say it sarcastically to replace actual information. You can't be like, oh, I went on a date with this Jewish girl. She was more rude than a wolf cat. An animal I made up. And decided was rude. I just did I did a book tour. And I was here in Brookline and in a lot of other places. And what I found, actually excluding here though, I'm surprised, but in every city there is a crazy person who goes to the reading. In Seattle there was a lady who had a cup of noodles who had previously been banned from the store, but was allowed to come back for me. And she was eating from her cup of noodles. And at some point, as I'm reading, there's a point at which I go like, I'm Jewish, and then I go, sorry. And then this woman stops, and she stops eating, and she looks at me and she goes, why did you apologize for being Jewish? And I became annoyed, and I went, because it's a terrible thing. She had never heard irony before. But right after I finished like my presentation and showed this video, there was a little 12-year-old boy in back, and he pointed at me, and he went, why is everyone looking at him and not at me? Oh, because he's funny. And it was like that. It was weird. And it turned out that this boy was the son of someone who worked there, and that he had Asperger's. He couldn't tell social situations and created rules for himself, and so it made sense. But then what's amazing is right after that, he pointed at me and he went, why doesn't he accept me as his God? I know. It's brilliant. And what that boy doesn't know is that I do. I totally accept him. I've always been confused by the specificity of religion. Like if you're Jewish, you have to wear a hat, but only in the middle of your head. And if but it all makes sense once you realize that God is a 12-year-old boy with Asperger's. Then everything clicks. You can't eat pork. Why not? Just because you can't. You can't eat a horse. And if you're like, I want to have sex. No, it's gross. What about gay sex? I'll turn you into salt. It's not a leap of faith. It's high-functioning autism. It's a religion.
What? Are you videoing?
Nice. I was in Vancouver in Canada, and what I was told was, every time I name a place. What I was told was the poorest neighborhood in North America, which I actually find very hard to believe, because has anyone here ever been to Detroit? Detroit has bears returning to the city. It has bears returning to the outskirts. When your city is being gentrified by bears, that's a very poor city when bears are opening Thai restaurants. Does anybody here know what to do if a bear attacks? Not prepared, Agganis Arena. What? Play dead? Any other suggestions?
Throw up in a ball!
Never mind. Most people do think you're supposed to play dead, which you are not supposed to do. Playing dead is like a rumor that bears spread. I don't know how they did it. So I wanted to do this last thing. I hate Delta Airlines. Everybody has an enemy. Mine is Delta Airlines. I flew from Seattle to New York, and they decided to get rid of my stuff. And when I landed, I went to the little thing, and I gave them my ticket, and was like, "Where's my stuff?" And the woman looks at my ticket, and she goes, "How do you pronounce your name?" I was like, "Eugene Mirman." "Why, how do you pronounce it?" And she goes, "It's not Barbara Riddle?" No. That is a totally different pronunciation of my name. None of the letters match any of the noises I intended. So she's like, "I'm sorry, you must have left your stuff. We'll get it to you tomorrow." The next day, somebody comes. They bring me Barbara's things. Great stuff, doesn't fit. I send it back. You know, I call them, they're like, "Sorry." The next day they come, they bring me Barbara's stuff. This time they're annoyed. They're like, "Just take it." And I bought some blueberry jam that I very much wanted, so I was like, "No." So this went back and forth for a long time, and I started recording my calls and stuff, and finally they were like, "Fill out a claim, and then you can, we'll just send you the money, and you will never have your stuff again." So I decided to write Delta Airlines a very angry letter, and this is the letter I wrote Delta. "Dear Delta Airlines, I hate you! You're an awful airline that's messed up the last 3 times I've traveled, and 2 of them were by train. Here's why I'm upset. You lost my luggage. Here's why I hate you. I talked to 7 different customer service people for hours. They all lied to me and then destroyed any record of our conversations. Dealing with Delta Airlines is like hiring an insincere baby with amnesia to solve a crime it committed. Plus, I think you have customer service people in India, but make them use American names. Trevor, really? Trevor Bhatnagar? When I was at the ticket counter in Seattle, I asked if I could have an upgrade. The woman said I couldn't with a Class L ticket. I didn't know about the different classes of tickets, but apparently the L in Class L stands for, ooh, fuck you. I'd like to thank you for finding a convenient way to recreate for all Americans what it must have been like to be black in 1955. Zing. The last time I wanted to see an organization fail as much as yours was Al-Qaeda. Do you know who they are? No. I pretend they don't know. They're an organization hell-bent on destroying the U.S. Sound familiar? It is based on your business model. Thank you all very much. It was very nice to see you. Oh, look at that. I'm on TV. It is my great pleasure now to bring on a very, very funny woman. You may know her from the hit HBO show Flight of the Conchords. Ladies and gentlemen, a wonderful, very funny comedian. I'm very excited to be here. Ladies and gentlemen, Kristen Schaal.
Thing I needed to create the deathbed flashback memory around